We're live and we're back here for another jaw time with Realtor Jeet. And I have some super amazing guests that are coming on today. It's my pleasure to introduce to you my dear friends Jeff West and Lisa Wilber. We had the honor of listening to Jeff talk about fusion points. Fusion points are those unifying moments when logic and positive emotion merge and ignite, creating commitment, energy, and acceleration. Those are words from Jeff C. West. Jeff also is the author of the best selling book, The Unexpected Tour Guide, a short yet powerful read on the lifestyle of a true salesperson. Lisa Wilber is the number 4 leading A1 distributor in the world, an amazing leader, an entrepreneur, an amazing leader in the direct selling sales industry, an entrepreneur and author. Together, they created Said the Lady with the Blue Hair, a heartwarming comedy about a young woman. Yeah, thank you. Together, they created Said the Lady with Blue Hair, a heartwarming comedy about a young woman starting a new life after a life altering event. She meets this mysterious woman with blue hair who changes her life. Yet, this book is focused on direct selling, and it is also a great book for anyone in business and in sales. And I'm just going to go over that with you soon, but I want you to meet the authors of Said the Lady with the Blue Hair. Clap your hands for me, guys. Welcome. And yeah,
Glad to be here.
I had a little cameo of Miranda. She's not feeling well. She has strep, but she drew this little picture for me.
Oh, that's
She's an amazing kid.
Thank you. So welcome to Chat Time with Realtor Jeet. I'm going to chair you guys.
Cheers.
And I
Thank you.
appreciate you so much for sharing your time with us today. And I love that mug, Jeff. I'm going to have to get one.
If you have connections, remind me and I'll send you one.
Thank you. So, yeah, this is exciting. Your book launch is officially on Black Friday.
Correct. It's actually it's sitting on the Amazon platform now, but we're telling everybody wait till Friday. That's the official launch, and the price is going to drop $4 per book, so it'll save everybody some money for the holidays. And we couldn't be more excited about it, and we're so grateful that you're having us on to help spread the word.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean, I was reading this book, and thank you for giving me the advanced copy to read. I had the pleasure of reading it, and it touched my heart, and I so resonated with it. So this is something that really needs to be on the shelf. So thank you for co-authoring and writing this book, and which leads me, Lisa and Jeff, what inspired you to write this book and collaborate, which is, an awesome collaboration between you two.
I'll let you take that one, Lisa.
Okay. I knew you were going to do that. So I don't know, Harjeet, if you were in the group when this happened for Jeff and I, but we were on one of the Go Giver Success Alliance Zoom calls, and it was one of the first ones that I was on. And I know it was early on in the whole group's existence because I'd been talking to Bob Berg about something else, and he mentioned that he was just doing this. And I just went, I'm in, because I've known him for a long time and I knew it was going to be good. So on one of the first calls I was on, I'm evidently easily intimidated. So there were doctors and lawyers and architects, because you're in realtors,
Yes.
very successful people. And it's not that I'm not, I just get easily intimidated by professionals like that. And I happen to have blue hair. And I'm thinking to myself, if it's not bad enough that I might get some judgment about my career choice, then I'm sitting here with blue hair. So what I decided to do was, instead of waiting for them to just have some judgment, I thought I'd go ahead and say something, maybe add something funny. So what I ended up saying, I raised my hand and I said, if you're looking to have less judgment in your life, go ahead and dye your hair blue. This is working out so good for me. I go down the grocery store and I see some lady in a tight skirt and I'm thinking to myself, man, that lady's got a tight skirt. said the lady with the blue hair. So it immediately stops me from being judgmental like that. And when I said that out loud on the call, I was looking in the comments after I lowered my hand, and Jeff said that would make a great book title. And now Jeff's going to say it.
Well, I reached out, as you know, Harjeet, the business model that Bob Berg and John David Mann did by taking the book Endless Referrals and turning that into the parable, The Go-Giver, it's just been one of the most successful partnerships in the world. And they sold over 1 million copies of that book.
Yeah.
And their business model has basically been that John would write the parable. It was primarily Bob's teaching and Endless Referrals. I know that John's got sales background as well, so I'm sure there was some collaboration there. And then they turned it into this wonderful story. And I love business parables anyway. My first that I remember reading was an Og Mandino book, and it's just my favorite thing to do is read the parables and then now writing the parables. And so I discussed with John and Bob about their business model, and they're both become friends, and they are kind enough to share their thoughts with me. And so I began to reach out, and Lisa was actually the first person I reached out to because I knew, being so huge in direct sales, I always call her a direct sales legend. And I don't know if I'm making her feel old when I do that or not, but she really is a legend.
Yes.
And then I reached out to her and I said, hey, would you like to do this? I want to partnership. I want to partner with someone to take their teaching and turn it into a parable. And that's what we did. And the 7 rules, the subtitle of the book is 7 Rules for Success in Direct Sales, wrapped in a wonderful lesson for life. And the 7 rules are actually things that Lisa has been teaching in her team for decades. And they're not just for direct sales. These are rules if you are in any independent kind of sales, like real estate, as you well know, or I was in insurance for 20 plus years. Those kind of careers where someone has to have an entrepreneurial mindset and get sales lessons right. This is what that's for. So we've got her rules in there. We have some of my sales training that I've done in between a little bit. And then we just tried to turn it into a story that would absolutely, our goal was to pull people in from the very first page and get them into the story. And I think we did a good job at that. But then Lisa's son, Alex, did even better because as we were working on the book cover, and I said, okay, Alex, this is kind of what I'm thinking about. The magic in his mind went to work. And so now instead of just being pulled into the story on the first page, they're pulled in on the cover because the cover completely puts you mentally in the scene of the very opening of the book.
Oh, that is amazing because you absolutely, both of you did an amazing job at, that first page. It kept me going, and I'm sure it kept so many people who did get to read the advanced copy going. And I love that you had your son involved in creating the cover page, and it's like now meshed into this scene of what is happening in the story. And that is just absolutely amazing. So the 7 rules of success. Jeff and Lisa, I know it says the 7 rules of success in direct sales, and reading it's like you said, Jeff, it's really the mindset of the entrepreneur, of the person who's out there. Like, you really have to build yourself and build on all of these principles, like the one in the Go-Giver. And so I'm sorry, go on.
Well, I know in my case, Harjeet, if I were still in the insurance industry, I was with Aflac, sales leadership with Aflac for 20 years. And the last 10 of that, I was actually a state sales coordinator, which was the highest you could go in the entrepreneurial position with Aflac at the time in the Houston area. If I were still doing that right now and this book came out, and I don't care who had written it, I'd be giving every single recruit this as soon as they walk in the door, because there's certain things that Lisa had verbalized and was teaching with her team that are just incredible lessons. And I always get her to talk about her favorite lesson, but because she wants to talk about my favorite lesson, and we'll try to clean that up a little bit.
I don't know. Now that we talked about the one I'm most known for, that's the one I like to talk about, the naughty rule.
I love that rule. I actually really love that rule because this is what builds great companies, such as the one that I'm in right now, eXp Realty. If we just said, hey, this is just how it's always been done, it wouldn't be where it is today with 86,000 agents.
Exactly.
I love how real estate agents keep an open mind when they're talking about marketing. I've actually gone to the real estate courses not intending to be a realtor, just because I think they're more open-minded about their marketing. And I'm one of my best friends, Scola. We call each other last names like we're in the military or something, because we're both Lisas. But but she's a realtor and doing a fabulous job. And watching all the different marketing tools that they use, I end up pulling some of them into my business because I think they're brilliant, and it's open-minded a lot more in that industry. Don't you find that to be true, Harjeet?
I absolutely find that. I was like, I don't know if you're talking to Jeff or me.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I do find that to be true, because it is, if, and I think I had mentioned this on one of our calls, I probably put it in our group, is that if we don't open ourselves, and this is what I love about our community, the Go-Giver community. You could pull your cup up, Lisa.
Yes. I had your cup out, and then I forgot.
It's beautiful because we have all three of the cups.
I was planning on having all three and taking a sip from each one at one time or another. That's late plans.
It's like in synchronization. The beauty of the Go-Giver community is that we all are from different industries. And like you said, Lisa, you were sitting in this group of professionals that were different from what you do. And you got to learn from what they had to say. And then they got to learn from what you had to say on, not being judgmental. And that's the same concept that I have, is when I go out and look at different industries and look at what's going on, so I can apply it into my marketing strategy. I can apply it into my marketing, because this is how you get to be, you're actually letting the market know that, here, we understand you, we want to understand you, and we're looking to solve whatever problem, and we're looking to get a solution for whatever problem you may be having. And that means having to look outside of your own industry.
Well,
there's an interest. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
You go.
Okay. In the Go-Giver Success Alliance, I think the thing that I wanted to accomplish when I joined was that I know that I'm not going to get to be a better person unless I'm around people that have bigger goals than I do and have bigger, juicier lives than I do. That's the only way that I'm going to get to be a better person. And I knew once Bob told me what they were doing, that that's what was going to, the kind of group it was going to be. They were all going to be above where I am. It's wildly intimidating, especially at the beginning. But I think the longer I've been in it, now it feels more like these are my people. You know what I mean? So anybody thinking about wanting to take their business or their life to another level, I think that's what it really takes, is you have to make yourself go hang around with people that have bigger, more bodacious. Is that the right word?
It's a good word.
Bodacious goals. Yeah, they have to have big,
big, huge, audacious goals. Yeah.
Exactly. I think one of the things that we all talk about Bob Berg and Kathy Tajanel all the time, because that's how the three of us met. And they're just such amazing people. They always give more in value than anything that people are paying to be part of their group. And I went to the thing in Harjeet, I think you'd already gone to it, where it was the Beyond the Mastermind, the Entrepreneurs Academy. That was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever seen in my life. I was fortunate to be a master coach there, but I got so much out of it. I felt like I was just making out like a bandit, because it was so wonderful. And they're a great thing. The other thing I was going to say is, one of the reasons this collaboration between Lisa and I has felt so comfortable to me is, RJ, you mentioned it earlier, the branding that I was using once I retired from Aflac and began speaking and writing was Fusion Points, engage the science of persistence, because I've learned through research that that process that goes on in the brain that makes people take that next step, that builds a cohesiveness in a team that they can't get any other way. And that's why some teams are really successful and some aren't, is that combination of logic and positive emotion you mentioned a little earlier. That's what you've done with your show. One of the things I absolutely love about your show is people relate to you. They get a heart connection with you, and then you have great logical content that's helping your audience so much. And it's that connection right there. And the same thing with what Lisa and I did with the book. We took some very logical, good sales training and leadership training and entrepreneurial thought processes and combined it with a story that's going to touch their hearts emotionally in a very positive way and pull them in. And it's those kind of things that stick and last. And so it's been a very comfortable collaboration. And it's part of why we all love the Go Giver movement so much, is because it does that to us. It's part of why we love your show. It's part of why I was on Lisa's YouTube show a year or so ago, her Monday Morning Madness show. I had no idea how much madness was really involved. Now I've been getting squirrel threats, but we won't go into that on the show. But it's been a blessing. And coming into Thanksgiving like this, it's one of the things I am absolutely the most thankful for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I am 100% in alignment with you, Jeff. It's absolutely, it changed my life and my way of thinking. And it's like what Lisa, you said, is really find yourself the availability and make yourself available to put yourself in rooms that do intimidate you, that you are afraid or scared of, because you're like, oh my gosh, look where this person is. And I'm not quite there yet, but I can do this. I remember when I first came in, I was just like really quiet and just listening.
You've grown.
I did, and this thanks to you guys and everybody that does come on our weekly calls, that we got to create this relationship and build on each other. And I love that this collaboration made this book, which, one of the things that resonated with me in the book that I think it will resonate with, and this is one of the messages that I strive to give out when I talk about real estate and EXP Realty, like creating a legacy. It doesn't matter if it's with, wherever you're creating this legacy is, especially for a woman, a mom who is married. Like February is going to be 20 years for me. And thank you. And it's important to know that we have created something. And it's like you mentioned in the book. Do you mind if I quote something out of the book?
Quote right away. Quote away.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I had it right here. It was on page 80. And this is from John David Mann and Anna Mon, where man that had come on the show as well for the Go Giver marriage. And this is why I resonate with Kai, is because, this is something that I am afraid of losing something and not being able to start over. And it was so great that this woman, if you guys read the story, you'll see she has this event that happens in her life, and now she has to start over. And I was like, this is what happened to me in 2017, 18, when I first got my real estate license. And I went to a local seminar, and I saw so many real estate agents who were like in their 60s and over, and on the seminar, on the computer, writing up offers and trying to still learn while they're doing this. And I'm looking around the room, I see a few people doing this. I'm like, did I get into the right field? I'm brand new. Like, I don't want to see my life here where I'm still working at 60 and 70. I want to live. So I had 3 events where I got to experience and watch 3 widows. This was crazy. It's my first year of real estate. 3 widows. They had all different lifestyles, different scenarios of what was happening with them. And the one common denominator that they had was that they were starting a new life, and they had no clue how they were going to start their new life. And that's when it hit me. It was like, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, is to build relationships, build a community, and make sure that, for myself and my children, that we're safe in the future as well. And that I can also explain this to other women, that they don't have to go through this, these scenarios where, one woman, she had no clue what she was going to do. They were, they had no money, husband and wife. They were taking care of their 30-year-old children on Medicaid, and their house was going to be, they were over with their taxes. And it was just an insane situation that she was in. And I felt so bad for her. The second woman, she had all of her ducks in a row. Her husband left everything perfect for her so that God forbid something happens to him, she's taken care of. And she's still yet, struggling to find this new life, because for 50 years she was with him. And that's all she knew. And then the other widow, independent woman, and she did everything all on her own. When her husband passed away, she was still working and everything. And now she's gotten older. She was like 80 years old, and she's losing her memory. And her kids wanted her to come closer to her. And she was like, sitting down with her, she would be crying every 15 to 20 minutes about her past life, and starting this new life. I was like, wow, like this really, God is in 1 year, he's telling me something. And that's what this book reminded me of. Like, this is so important for people to pick up and read. Doesn't matter who you are, because it does remind you. It does, and here's the quote: is that, where did she write it? I circled it. Oh, that's John David Mann and Bob Berg. That's from The Go-Giver.
Do you mind if I say something?
Go on.
What I wanted to say to you is, you and I are quite a bit different in age.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm rounding that corner to 60. And you know what? I think that once you bloom in that career that you're doing right now,
yeah,
when you get to my age and beyond that, I have absolutely no intention of not working. It doesn't feel like I'm working because I love it so much. I actually hope that instead of being an assisted living and die because I slipped on the toilet and hit my head or something like that I go down in a plane on my way to the Riviera or something, because I get to travel all over the world because of my work. I get to do things I absolutely love and speak to people and meet new people. I think once you start blooming in the career that you really love, that it won't seem like the age won't even matter anymore. To me, it doesn't even matter. And actually in my company, I'm one of the younger ones.
And that's what it was, Lisa. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it's perspective. And it's like, okay, are you working or are you living your life? And for you are living your life.
They're the same. It's all one thing.
It's all one thing right there. And to see people who are actually stressing because they're chasing this next deal, that's who this goes out to. Is like, don't chase the next deal. Look at how you want to live your lifestyle and make this fun for yourself. Right. Once you change and flip that, I think it's going to be life-changing for that person.
It's the difference in working because you want to versus working because you have to. And it makes all the difference in your happiness level.
Yeah.
When Lisa and I first started talking about the collaboration, I interviewed her for a few hours. I don't remember exactly how long, but one of the things I asked her is, what's the most important message that you would want to get out? If whatever we do with this book, what's the most important message that you would like people to take away from it? And she says, I really want women to be prepared so that if life takes an unexpected turn for whatever reason, that they're not in a situation where they can't provide for themselves. And that was kind of the single most important thing, I think, that from at least that was my takeaway from Lisa and our interaction.
Yeah.
And I want to say something too to the guys out there. This is not just a book for women. This is a book for men and women, because it's going to teach you some lessons that are awesome. and it's going to do it in such a way that I don't care if you're the strongest guy out there. It's going to touch your heart. It just is.
It absolutely is. Here, I found it. Here it is. It's funny, even though single is the right choice for me.
We just did this one. We just did this one.
One of my favorite books that I have read in the last year is called The Go-Giver Marriage, a little story about the 5 secrets to lasting love by John David Mann and Anna Gabriel Mann. In their book, one of their points is that when 2 people build their individual lives while also being the greatest supporter and cheerleader for each other, they find that part of their lives will overlap. The overlap can become the most beautiful and wonderful marriage for the 2 of them. And I loved how you summarized that. And it's exactly goes to what Jeff was just saying. If you're a guy, you're going to read this and it's going to touch your heart and it's going to make you appreciate your significant other 10x.
I think it will make everybody work better with each other.
Yeah.
And I've got this habit, as you know, from reading The Unexpected Tour Guide.
Mm-hmm.
I get favorite authors and concepts, and I don't mind working them into the storyline because I, quite frankly, wish everybody would read The Go-Giver. Everybody would read the Go-Giver Marriage and Endless Referrals and Adversaries into Allies. And I got tickled when I sent Bob the original manuscript on The Unexpected Tour Guide. He was so excited that he got a cameo appearance in the book. By the way I wrote it, he was actually a cameo in there. But when you get messages that are that strong, I don't do anything for self-promotion. I do it because the message is that good. And so, granted, don't get me wrong. I hope 1 million people buy this book.
But hey, I want a cameo in your next book.
You will. You'll have it. It'll be the woman in her studio during the audio book recording. You mentioned that particular part there. We're working on the audio version of the book, and I did my part in a studio in Denton, Texas, and Lisa's doing her part at a studio she has in her home, and we were working on some of it this morning. And I've had experience doing these kind of things, not necessarily audio books, but recording sales courses and all that. This is Lisa's first time. And we were doing that particular part this morning, and we were laughing about it because it was an interesting morning.
He had to go as far as doing it sentence by sentence where I was repeating. I was that. And it's funny because this is what I wanted when I signed up for the Go-Giver, is to do things that I didn't have planned, is to say yes to stuff. Right. And matter of fact, this year has been so unusual because I produced a play in our community, which I never had planned to do that. I was a producer, and I co-wrote a parable with some. If you'd asked me even January 1st if any of those 2 things were going to happen, I didn't see that at all. So this is exactly what I wanted, is to have all these new experiences. So it's kind of sad that I was so terrified to actually do the experience.
You've done great.
Yes, Lisa, that is beautiful, because that's exactly why we all go into groups such as this, because especially like Go-Giver, look at you, look at where you are now. And this is what I love to say to everyone: take inventory of your journey from last year, or what you wanted last year or 5 years ago, and where you are today, and how do you feel about that exponential growth in you today because of those steps that you made.
Well, this has all helped my regular core Avon business, because I know if I meet new people that I never met before, I get new business. Even if I don't say anything about it, I end up getting new business because they find out what I do, because it's just all over. So, I mean, if you think about it, with the community theater, I met the cast and the crew were 30 people, those 2 categories, and all the people that followed it, and all the people and I was in charge of marketing for that. I met dozens and dozens of new people. And now in this project with the book, Jeff's entire universe of people I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've got really actually close relationships with at least a dozen of his connections. And I know a whole bunch more, and they know me. So saying yes to something like a book helped me increase my regular business too.
Well, my opinion is I don't think I've ever met anyone who accomplished anything really great for their family or great in their life that did so while staying completely in their comfort zone. We all have to stretch. We all go through that. This is the first time I've collaborated on a book. It's with Lisa, and of the two of us, I'm probably a little bit more comfortable maybe than she was starting, but it's a stretch for me too. But now two other people have reached out to me that are big names that have asked would I want to collaborate with them on a book, which of course I've said yes to both of them. We've got to work out the logistics, but it's just you're going to have to stretch, and it's not always going to be comfortable, but you can accomplish anything as long as enough people know what you're doing.
And hopefully I didn't traumatize Jeff so much that
The squirrel pictures traumatize me.
you heard him talk about that squirrel.
I did.
Oh, that is so funny. I think we should name the squirrel Conway Twitty, though, after last night.
For those that don't know, Lisa and I do a live show inside our launch team group on Facebook. It's called Team Blue, and we do a live show on Thursday evenings there. We won't be doing one, obviously, on Thanksgiving. But it's been because there's people like Jeet and others that were wanting to help us promote the book. And I think we have over 1,200 people in that launch group now. And so we do something live each week. And Lisa got understanding, or so I don't remember how it all came about, but I've had a pesky squirrel at my ranch down in Ledbetter, Texas, and it's no matter what I do, it finds a way to get into the bird feed, and so I've been posting some pictures about that in Facebook, and then it got into the group, and now they look for ways to bully me with the squirrel.
Squirrel bullying.
Oh, that reminds me. I was thinking, are we thinking about the same squirrel picture?
We've got multiples now. I posted a couple of videos and some squirrel pictures this morning of the real guy, of the real one that will stand there and bark at me. Squirrels are supposed to run from humans.
Okay, now his name's going to be Conway.
Right.
Oh no.
This is just beautiful. I love this. I can imagine both of you and even reading the book. This is what it looks like collaborating with Jeff and Lisa and working with them, is that you're going to get work done, and it's going to be so fun that it does not feel like it's work.
Can I tell you something weird? Is that I don't know how this happened, because we didn't talk to each other about what we were good at. We didn't discuss how we were going to do this. We didn't have the big plan worked out ahead. Mm-hmm. I guess I assumed he knew I could do promotion. I guess I don't know why I assumed that. In my own little world, everyone knows that. And I know obviously he's the writer guy, but I thought that's how we were doing it. And even other stuff we've divvied up without talking to each other and haven't overlapped work. I don't know how it's working that way, but isn't that true?
Yeah, it's been like a puzzle where the pieces just matched. It's really I hope all collaborations end up being like this. I really do. I'm not sure they will, but that's what I'm hoping. But it's and there's a chemistry that we have to. We've been on a lot of shows like yours, Jeet, and where we get interviewed, and we even had George Madow, his show with the Network Marketing Magazine. We were on there twice, and after it was over, he was saying, "You guys need to consider having a normal." I don't know if we can do anything normal, but a regular live show that goes out, because the chemistry, we play with each other so much, it works. And when we start the Facebook Live thing on Thursdays at 7 Eastern time, we get on about 15 minutes earlier. We're talking a little bit about what's going on, and when it goes live, we're in the middle of a conversation and already laughing. So when people get on, we're already having a fun time, and they're going, "What did I miss?"
I think for us to have a normal show, at least one of us would have to be normal, though.
Not a chance of that happening.
A little late for that.
That is great. That's a really cool idea. And it reminds me of that book, Who Not How. And you guys are each other's who's. That's what it looks like, is that you guys are each other's who's, and you created this. It's an amazing read, and I cannot emphasize it enough. I could see Jeff's. I could actually see what part Jeff wrote and what part Lisa wrote. And one of my favorite parts is when you talk about the mini skirt. Thank you. Just give me one moment. I'm sorry.
Moms have to be moms even while they work sometimes.
Yes.
We're just lucky we haven't got a delivery here. That's what we're lucky for. Because my dog always makes a cameo every time I do a show.
But yes, this is why I switched to Fridays at 1, is because then I get to like do this while she's at school. But now she's got strep throat, so she's home.
I want to make sure you know I didn't write any of the book. I know I get to have a co-author credit, but that is all Mr. West right there. The reason I get the co-author credit is because we use some of my ideas and stuff.
Ideas.
I heard you in my headphones. yeah, but it is funny because sometimes, and I'm very I want to say grateful that I did this, but I'm sorry. People have come up and said, I didn't know you were that good of a writer. And sometimes I just say, thank you.
That's okay.
But it is Mr. West. That is the wordsmith, not me.
Well, I told you early on, my job is to make your star shine on this. And so, I'm always grateful when you tell them that the writing is mine, and that's much appreciated. But don't you dare worry about it if you just say thank you, because you know what? The royalty payment's the same either way, then for whatever reason they buy the book. All right.
Sometimes I just can't help myself. I'm like, thank you.
That's amazing. And that shows a testament of Jeff and Fusion Points and everything that he teaches, because yes, Lisa, you had the idea and you gave it, and this is like what it is, what it means to listen and actually give a message out that you wanted to. And it's like what Jeff said earlier. I asked Lisa, what is the main message that you want to give out? And Lisa, it looks like you. I mean, I was going to say the 7 habits of the 7 rules, they apply to everything. They apply not only into direct sales, they apply to business, entrepreneurs, and life in and of itself, which, mentions one of my favorite ones is the mini skirt one. I was just cracking up.
That was my favorite. I just try not to say too much about it.
You know what I was absolutely, stunned about, which is not right. I should give him more credit than this, but when I started reading the chapters as Jeff was writing them and sending them over, every time he got something that was me, I don't know how to say it any other way, it's a part of me or a part of my story, I literally gasped. And I'm like, like I couldn't believe he was listening to me, which sounds horrible, but I guess in my experience, I don't have a lot of men actually listening, and he got sorry. No, I'm grateful. So, but
Jeff is blushing.
So cool. Yeah, that is so cool that he did that. And you know what's funny is it's not just cool to me. I think that's one of the Avon corporate executives that's now long retired. I think he's been out maybe 15 years, and I've known him really well and kept in touch with him. And actually 2 of them, Angie Rossi and John Fleming, when they read the books, they immediately said to me, Angie said to me privately, John actually wrote it in his endorsement. He said, it sounds like your story. So many pieces of it were your story. So it's not exactly my story, but it's like I told Jeff before, Belle is like me on Snapchat. It's like the polished up filtered me.
Filtered more than anybody ever will know.
Yeah, I don't think Belle's favorite word is the same as mine.
Yeah, we're going to skip through that real fast. So tell the miniskirt rule. One of you beautiful ladies, tell the miniskirt rule.
The miniskirt rule. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you go ahead and tell the miniskirt.
I want to be able to say it without getting it backwards, because sometimes
I got it.
Okay, the miniskirt rule. Think of your presentations like your miniskirt. keep them short enough to hold people's attention. Oh, see now,
I'm not whispering in your ear.
Okay, short enough to hold their attention, long enough to cover the goods.
When she said that, I think in a Go Givers thing one time, or maybe she just said it when we were collaborating. I couldn't stop laughing for 5 minutes when she said that.
You know what though? It is such it's a great marketing thing. This is what marketing is about. I have
You must run into that all the time in real estate because agents talk too much, in my opinion. They're telling all about the house when really all you have to do is get the customer to envision themselves in the house. They don't necessarily care about how long the roof's going to last as long as they can picture themselves in the house, right?
It's what makes it feel like home for them. And
and some agents tell you everything.
It's like what Jeff Shore says in his books is like you become a feature teller. You're just there to tell the features.
Yeah.
Right? Talking about this is the light. This is the living room.
This is a floor. We walk on it.
These are oak floors.
and instead, aren't you supposed to be going like, where do you think you'd put your couch in here?
Yeah.
That way they picture their furniture in that house. Isn't that it?
That's exactly what it is. And you know what's even best is when you know what is the main focal point of that person's feeling of what is home like. You know, is it the living room? Are they a cooker? Do they like the kitchen? Are they a musician? Do they need a soundproof wall in their basement? Is the basement big enough for their instruments or, any room in the area? You're looking at that focal point. And it's like hold it long enough to hold their attention and short enough to hold their attention and long enough to
with the goods.
I'll have to tell you 2 funny stories real quick. Last night in the Facebook Live session, Lisa was making some comment about how she couldn't believe I had actually listened, and I picked up on her essence and was able to work it into the story. And one of the people, Kim Throckmorton, who's one of my Aflac contacts that I've known for years and spoke in her area in her state years ago. And she had written in the chat, Lisa, didn't you know husbands are sold with ears sold separately?
I totally agree with that. As someone with a collection of ex-husbands, I agree with that.
I'm debating whether to tell the other thing. Jeet's show is not like me and you talking normally, so I'm gonna tell it anyway.
What's the other thing? Yeah, you're good.
We were in the writing process, and I had sent Lisa a section to read through and all that, and it was an emotional section, and it kind of touched some spots. I don't know, it's either on our next call or she sent me an email, but she says, "All right, are you a chick?" I said, "No, darling, but I can strap on my ovaries." All right. But I think there are a lot of men who really are completely in touch with their emotions that do care, and they can be some of the most supportive people in the world. Are there guys that have been taught growing up to kind of kill that part of themselves or keep it in? Sure, there have been, but there are a lot of people who, even though were taught that, as they've grown, they realize, hey, you know what? It's all right to do that. I used to, when my kids would perform on stage, my kids, they're grown women now and they're in their 30s and they have children. But when they were children, they get on stage and do anything. And I'd be the proud dad with tears just welling up in my eyes. And I don't think I've ever sobbed, but I certainly had tears. And if they came down, I was perfectly fine with it because I loved my daughters. And it didn't matter to me if they saw daddy get emotional being proud of them. I was okay with that. And I think a lot of men are like that. And they're as manly as men can be, and they're man enough that if they want to enjoy their emotions, it's okay with that too.
You know, Harjeet, that's the other thing about the Success Alliance for me is because the men that I've had, I don't want to say exposure to because that sounds bad. Sorry. The men that I've been around in my life have not been like that. So my experience of what a man is is like the man village manly man. We're driving a pickup truck. We're not having emotions. We're not listening. And to be around some other men, and it's not just Jeff. I
Yeah.
mean, look at David Bryan. He writes poetry.
Yeah.
When I first met him, he was on my show too. I must have told 85 people in my life that I couldn't believe I met a man, like he's a man's man for sure, that writes poetry. I was just so stunned by that. And being in a group where there's so much diversity, where you're going to end up meeting people that aren't like the ones around you, has really helped me deal with other people. I don't put everybody in a box because I can now see examples of, I want to say a better version, but a different version, because I don't want to say the other version is bad for the other guys, but I like being able to have other references rather than what I've always known.
Sure.
Yeah, that is, and speaking of our friends, Joey Vitale is one of them who just said, "Hey, Joey."
Joey. Joey is a great guy.
It gives us its perspective. If it's the lenses that we're looking through, and if we only look at a person or a group with just one lens, how can you really see the beauty of the entire group then? And
You know, when Lisa was saying that, I wanted to go over here and go, men, 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 manly men, men, men. I don't know how much of that I can sing without getting into copyright trouble, but I love that song.
And of course, I'm singing, "It's raining men."
Yeah, if I sing that, it's going to seem a little bit more. Never mind. Never mind.
Awesome. I love that we did cover most of it through the book and through learning about how collaboration and putting ourselves in groups and rooms with people who stretch us. And so we know Jeff's favorite rule is
The mini skirt rule.
at
I'm a
least
man with an imagination. What can I say?
That's a good one. That's awesome.
So you guys, if you haven't gotten the book, and like Jeff said, it's going to be $4 less.
Yeah, $4 less on Black Friday. So wait and get it then.
Wait and get it then. I will put the link in the comment underneath here on all platforms. This is on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. It is also in the description. You can click on get the book, or go to Amazon and click it. Go there. Make sure you get this book, because that way you will find out what this mini skirt is about and what this naughty rule is about.
Can I tell one more story? Is there time?
There's plenty of time.
And this one's going to make you blush, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Those of you that watch her Jeet show regularly, you already know this. She's just great. She's great with her guests. She always puts on a great show.
Mhm.
Well, after being on her show some while back, I was playing golf with a friend of mine in Houston.
Give me one moment. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was playing golf with a friend of mine in Houston. And as we're playing, he said, "Hey, I just saw you on that show, that Realtor out of New York." And I'm thinking, well, he's going to compliment, the topic we covered and all that. And I'm practicing my best humble look. But I'm thinking he's going to be complimentary of the show. And he says, "That girl was hot." That was his only comment about the entire thing. She's blushing. I love to make Harjeet blush.
Well, now we know Jeff needs some new friends to golf with.
I'm going to tag him with this episode so he can see it again.
That is funny. He said that he made me blush last time too.
I mean, it's awesome that he thought she was hot, but too bad he doesn't have actually some other feedback for you.
Well, he's good in sales. He's good at what he does. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I mean, it's a compliment, so thank you.
It is.
Harjeet, you know that in my real life, I call everything rules. because of my kid. I'm surprised because you have small children. I'm surprised you haven't done this too. So I got used to, I mean, I got sick of reasoning with the kid. So then I just started saying everything was a rule, but I didn't let the kid know I'm the one that makes the rules. Right. So like the kid's like, do I have to go to bed by 8? Oh yeah, sorry, it's a rule.
It's a rule.
You know, and then, can I get up after I get up? No, sorry, there's a rule about that. So all this stuff, I just say it like that. And the kid bought it for a long time too. It worked great.
Oh,
But
She tried that with me, but I didn't buy into some of that. I'm just
it's
my employees do though. They're like, oh, sorry, there's a rule about that. Yeah.
the thing
They
about
let me get
rules,
away with it anyway.
there's a secret about rules. They can be broken, which that seventh
The
rule.
naughty rule.
exactly. Exactly. One of my favorite lines in the book is an opening scene when one of the opening scenes when Belle and Kai are getting to know each other, and when Belle says, "I'm going to teach you a set of rules," and then she says, which is really funny when you think about how much of a rule breaker I am. And I thought, when I wrote that, I'm thinking I can just see Lisa saying this.
No, that is me all over. And matter of fact, I'm sure at Avon Corporate they're laughing about that too. Right. I think how do you want to put this? Try their patience? I don't know. They love me.
Aw,
Lisa and I do plan on doing some speaking events too. So if anybody at EXP or wherever, if you're wanting a good fun repartee, that we talked about the idea of doing some things together where we'll basically on stage play in the same way we do on podcast and on our other show, and then teach some of the rules, and then we'll sign books in the back, that kind of thing. So just a word out there if anybody knows, anybody that's interested.
So I don't know. I Lisa, were you able to hear Jeff?
It broke up a little bit, but I got it.
So Black Friday special on Amazon is Said the Lady with the Blue Hair, and then there's a special bonus that Jeff was talking about. So Jeff, if you could just repeat it so that
Sure. If you are a sales leader and you would like to get copies for the leaders in your team or the people in your team, if you buy at least 25 copies of the book, and then you'll need to shoot us an email with your receipt. So we've got that. You and your entire team will be invited to a worldwide live event that Lisa and I will do, where there'll be a meet and greet the authors. There'll be time for questions, and you'll be able to interact, and your team will be able to interact with that. And then if you are a sales leader and you've got enough people that you buy 50 or more copies, we'll actually do an exclusively live event just for you and your team. And I've already had somebody buy 70 copies. And so we'll do live events like that. And it'll be something that you'll be able to invite your entire team to. And Lisa and I have been talking about doing some things on stage. So if companies would like to bring us in, we have a very playful repartee that we will be doing, and your crowd will enjoy it. And we'll have fun and play with them and sign books in the back later, that kind of thing. So, but we love you guys. I just want
to hear him say repartee a bunch more times.
Repartee. It's a very braggadocious word to say.
You know, it's funny. I actually can't wait till we get to do something on stage together, because I have spoke all over the world, and so have you, but we've never seen each other live.
Right.
So that's kind of going to be fun. I think
it will be fun. It sure will.
That's right. None of us actually seen each other in person.
No.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Actually, Lisa and I had lunch one day in San Antonio, so we did get to meet. But I missed you when you were in Texas. I so wanted to get to the Dallas area to see you while you were there. I just hated that I couldn't. But when I went to the thing in Jupiter last month, oh my gosh, seeing some of our friends in face to face like that, like Debbie Britt was there, and
French toast.
What?
French toast
was there. Candy was there. It was just amazing.
It is. It's so nice to see everybody in person. When I went, it was like, oh, look, like you could see the whole you now.
Oh, and when Jeff drove down to San Antonio, it was so fun. And he laughs. You think he laughs good on the Zoom? Oh man, he's so funny in person.
I bet it must be.
Oh, my face hurt when I left. We were just laughing so hard at that breakfast.
My job was done. I made her face hurt. I've got a face for radio, but now with podcast and things, you got to, you know.
And it makes for radio. That's awesome.
Oh man, I know Jeff definitely. When I come down to Texas next time, or if you're ever in New York, you let me know.
I will. Hopefully, we'll be in New York because I'm going to enter us in the Unexpected Tour Guide won a business fable award from the Axiom Business Book Club, and I'm going to enter this one too. And that was in New York that we did the award, so that was pretty fun.
Oh, and I'm going to be in New York, Harjeet, pretty soon, January, for an Avon council meeting.
You guys have to connect up there for sure.
Yeah. Are you you're down in the city? Yeah.
She's in Long Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of Long Island. Long Island. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm only an hour and a half, so you just let me know and I'm there.
I wish I'd known. I was there not too long ago, probably a couple months ago. Yeah.
In Texas, we call an hour and a half neighbors, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not up here.
4 or 3 hours. He's like, it's okay, Harjeet. I was like, you sure?
Harjeet probably doesn't even want to go upstate, right?
No.
Upstate, right. I don't even live there, and I know that.
Yeah, that's too far. It's 3 hours.
People go, are you going all the way to Maine, which is less than an hour from here?
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I 5 hours I could do after that. I mean, we've driven to Canada to Niagara Falls, and I'm just not there anymore. I'm like, all right. So we're getting close to the hour, and I did want to thank you guys so much. This has been so much fun, filled with laughter and education as always. Jeff, Lisa, you guys are so awesome. And like I always ask all my special guests to close out with, and Jeff already mentioned it, what is the message that you would like to give out to everyone out there, and the benefit, really the benefit of getting this book?
Lisa, you want to go first, or you want me to?
I can go first, I guess. When we first were talking about the book, the thing that was most important for me, and we already discussed this here, was that women in particular, but everybody, should be prepared to assume responsibility for themselves and pay their own way in the world. So I really hope that this book helps with that. Even if one other person didn't have to go through, I've seen so many women suffer when they're all of a sudden have to fend for themselves and can't do it. To me, I would be, I don't know, happy beyond measure if I knew even one woman didn't have to do that because of reading this book. So I'm hoping, of course, that many more people benefit from it, but I just don't want to see anybody else suffer that because they're not prepared.
I guess for me, Harjeet, first off, thank you so much for having us on. It's such a blessing to know you and be on your show. But for me, the thing would be, I wish when I was brand new in sales that someone had sat down and taught me the lessons, the rules that are in this book, because it didn't matter what your industry is. Those things will help you get a better start. And if I were a sales leader, these are the things you really wish you could say comfortably to them, but maybe you're not always comfortable doing it, but you really want them to hear it. So that would be my message.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. We have that in one hand is the foundation of building your career, and on the other hand is the foundation of building your life and being prepared. I love that. I absolutely love that. And Lisa and Jeff are doing an Audible on this, and I'm excited for that because, I mean, you've seen them here live, and that's going to be a fun book to listen to as well.
Love you guys.
Love you. Thank you guys for joining again. Jaw time with, here's my tea. Jaw time with Realtor Jeet. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Just give me one moment.